So every morning here at Sedona Wellness Retreat, we're going to ask you to take your own vital signs. I'm going to show you how it's done. Follow me. So we're going to go to the gathering room, which is right here. And you're going to take a seat in this wonderful chair right here. Now before you came down in the morning, and this is right before breakfast time, maybe around 7:30, before you even got out of bed, you should take your temperature. And so we have one of these digital thermometers, and it should be on one of the tables next to your bed when you arrive. And so before you get out of bed each morning, you are going to take your temperature. You're just going to turn this on, like that. And then you're going to tuck it under the back of your tongue with a little bit of pressure and with your mouth closed. And then you're going to wait what's going to seem like a very long time for it to beep. It takes about a minute, but it seems a lot longer than that. So wait for it to beep. Make sure it's tucked under your tongue with a little bit of pressure towards the back of under the tongue and with your mouth closed. And then either write down what the temperature is or remember it. So after you take your temperature, you come downstairs, come into this room, and you're going to take the rest of your vital signs. You're going to open up the Wellness Guest Health Log. And on your wellness plan, it should say what your health log number is. So I'm number 1 today. So I've opened it up to number 1, and I'm going to write down the temperature that I just recorded, 98.0. And then I'm going to step up on this scale right here. And you just step on it, and it'll turn on. And once you see the number stop moving, that's your weight. So I'm 150.6. I'm going to write that down in the weight category right here. Then I'm going to take my blood pressure and my pulse. So these blood pressure cuffs are pretty easy to use. You just have to remember that it goes on your wrist, right below the crease of your wrist, right here, right below the palm. And you want the front end of this unit to be facing the same way as your palm. So not the way that a watch would face on the back of your hand, but facing the same way that your palm faces. And you're going to make sure it's snug. And then you want to make sure that your legs are not crossed and that your arm is rested for this. So you can either rest your arm here on the table, or you can hold it over your chest like you're saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I personally have an easier time holding it over my chest, so that's what I'm going to do. And then when you're ready, you're going to hit this on button right here. Put your arm in the rested position. It's slowly going to pump up. You're going to feel pressure on your wrist. And then it's slowly going to release that pressure. It may take up to 30 seconds, so just be patient. Do some deep breaths. If you had just come down the stairs, you should wait a couple minutes before taking your blood pressure because that might artificially elevate it. So make sure you're seated a couple minutes before you take it. So I just noticed that all the pressure slowly released, and then finally the unit released all of its pressure. Some of these units will beep when they're done, but some of them, it just releases all the pressure and then it's done. And then you need to look at the face of the unit. So it's telling me my blood pressure is 144/89, which is not an ideal blood pressure, but maybe it's because I'm nervous because we're filming. So I'm going to write that down in the blood pressure, 144/89. So you just do 144/89. And then on the next screen, you'll see it's flipping back and forth. It says P98. That's my pulse. So I'm going to write that down too. And there's one more unit here. This is a pulse oximeter. It tells you not only your heart rate, but how oxygenated your blood is. You do not need to check this every day unless your doctor has told you to do so, or if you're short of breath in the morning for some reason, you can check. Let's see what mine is. So all you do is you flip this open and put your finger in there so that your nail bed is facing the top of the unit. And then you hit the on button. It takes a few minutes to calibrate. Not a few minutes, a few seconds really. Make sure you're breathing. And so this is telling me that my blood is 95% saturated with oxygen, which is good. Anything above 90 is generally considered fine. And my pulse down here is around 95 right now. So I can write that down here. There's an extra section here that says note. You can write things like your oxygen saturation there, or if you're checking your blood sugar in the morning, you can write it there, or if you're in acute distress, your stomach really hurts, you could write that there too. Because this is one of the first things that the medical department checks in the morning, and this is an important way that we keep track of how your body is doing in an objective way. So now that I have all of my vital signs in the book for today, you just close up the book, set it back where you got it, and then the last thing you're going to do before you get up and go eat breakfast is you're going to sign yourself up on this appointment sign-up schedule. So our medical staff does rounds in the morning. We'll check in with you just to see how you're doing, to catch up, to see if there's any changes that need to be made to your program. So you're going to put your name down in the morning for when you want to be checked in. Sometimes times might be crossed out. So some mornings we do mind-body class, and so this section might be crossed out. So any section that's not crossed out is fair game. So I see that Angela here has signed herself up at 9:40. And she circled room, which means she would like us to come visit her in her personal room for her check-in. If you circle lounge, then we'll just meet you by the fireplace in the big room in front of the kitchen. And then we'll come meet you at that time, check in with you. Now, in the afternoon after lunch, you can also have a consult with us, a brief check-in, and you can put your name down here for that. This one's optional. We won't bug you if you don't want us to. So just put your name down here if you feel like getting a little bit of extra attention that day. And then make note of this column too. This side of the page is for therapies and treatment times. We scheduled these the night before, and so when Angela will check this morning, she'll notice that she's signed up for a treatment at 11 o'clock in the morning. And so at 11 o'clock, as it says here, she'll go up to the Eagle's Nest upstairs, which is where we do IV therapies and other types of therapies for her treatment. If there is a problem with this time, you have something else scheduled that you were hoping to do, just talk with us about it, and we can most likely reschedule it. And once you're done setting your vitals in this book, signing yourself up for your check-ins, checking what time your therapies are, then it's ready to go eat breakfast.